Can you please rename yourself or can keep the camera on? Other devotees also were possible, keep the camera on, please. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nastya Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Angum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जय पताक स्वामी नामिने नम आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपपदाय गौरकथामदाय नगर ग्राम तारिणे Om Tassat Hare Krishna Nanat Pranam to all. Thank you for joining Bhagavatam discussion. So we'll continue Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 11. Yes, Mataji. Sudha Mataji, you have to unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji.
So, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Satre Mamasa Bhagavan Hayasrasatho Sakshats Yajna Purushas Tapanya Varnaha Chando Mayo Makhamayo Hila Devatatma Vacho Abhuvur Usat Swastsato Sya Nastaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Lord appeared as the Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well and the super soul of all demigods. When the
Deep breath.
when the breath, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. Purport. The Vedic hymns are generally meant for sacrifices performed by fruitive workers who also want to satisfy the demigods to achieve their fruitive result. But the Lord is the personified sacrifices and personified Vedic hymns. Therefore, one who is directly a devotee of the Lord is a person who has automatically both served the purposes of sacrifices and pleased the demigods. The devotees of the Lord may not perform any sacrifice or may not please the demigods as per Vedic injunctions, and still the devotees are on a higher level than the fruitive workers or the worshippers of different demigods. Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. So Brahmaji is talking about Lord Hayagriva. How in the previous few verses, different incarnation he's talking about. Here it talks about Lord Hayagriva. Earlier we are Sri Rishabhadev and other pastimes we heard. So Hayagriva, I mean, there are different versions, but the versions talk about there was a demon named Hayagriva. So and he stole the Vedas and hid them in a Garbhodaka ocean. So Lord appeared as Hayagriva and to recover the Vedas. So in the translation here, Brahmaji himself is saying that Lord appeared as Hayagriva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me. Means Lord Brahma, in that sacrifice, Lord appeared. And what is the purpose? Purpose was to protect the Vedas. So recover the Vedas. And he personified Vedas as well, because Lord himself says, Sarvasya Chaham Disannivistho Matha Smritir Jnana Apahomanicha Vedeshu Sarver Ahameva Vedyam. So he says, he himself says that all the Vedas coming from him only. So even for Brahmaji also, uh, first jnana given by the Vedas, knowledge given by Lord. Tene Brahma Hridaya Dikhavai in Bhagavatam also says. So the Vedic knowledge given to Brahmaji also by Lord, and that Lord appeared here as Ayagriva to protect the Vedas. Now, when talk about Vedas, we all know that four Veda, Atharvaveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and
Atharvana Veda. Atharvana Veda.
Atharvaveda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda, and
Yajurveda, Samaveda,
Samaveda,
Yajurveda,
Atharvaveda, and
Atharvana Veda. Rigveda,
Rigveda. Correct. Yeah. Sorry.
Atharvana Veda.
Yeah, okay. So these four Vedas are there. So we all know that when Krishna Dvaipa, when uh, he wrote all the Vedas, Vyasa, and after that also he was not happy. So that's the time he approached Narada Muni. Narada Muni instructed that actually you are wasted your time, because the Vedas mainly the majority portion of Veda talks about fruitive activities. So, karma kanda, things like that. So, bhakti or the pure glorification of the Supreme Lord is not happened. That's the reason he told him to write Bhagavatam. So, we are studying Bhagavatam here. So, the purpose of Vedas, in Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna says that gradually transform people to the pure bhakti. That is the purpose of Veda. Even Bhagavad Gita also Krishna talks about karma kanda, dhyana kanda. Finally, he comes to bhakti only. So bhakti is ultimate. That is the real purpose. But what happens that people have a different interest, different taste. Each one wants their different purpose stuff. That's why Vedas provide all this. It provide sense gratification also provides, and all this provision is there. But all the provisions purpose is to slowly bring them up completely from materialistic life to the spiritual life, gradually upgrade them. That's the purpose of it. So that's why Prabhupada says Vedic hymns are generally meant for sacrifice performed by the fruitive workers who also want to satisfy the demigods, achieve their fruitive results. So now few points here. What is the purpose of Vedic hymns? Vedic hymns meant to perform sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice is required because all the sacrifices is meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord, by the Krishna, Vishnu, generally any sacrifice, and finally the Krishna Arpan happens. And in the process, all the Devatas given their share in the sacrifice. So this Vedic hymns, the mantra is chanted to the pleasure of all Devatas and the Supreme Lord. But there are people use this mantras or these sacrifices to worship Devi Devatas with the intention of getting a, because when worship Krishna, they're all satisfied. There's no need to separately worship them because they are also worshipping Krishna. The devotee is able to hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Hare Krishna, able to hear me now?
Now
Yes,
we can
In
hear.
between, there is a disconnection. Internet was become slow. Okay. So the purpose of all the sacrifices Vedas to satisfy the Lord. There are people who want their own sense gratification. For that, they worship so many devatas, so that they get benefit. That's actually Krishna himself, they are doing actually business. Whereas Devi Devatas, they never want to do business. Their purpose is to, satisfy the Supreme Lord. That's why Prabhupada here says that, therefore, one who is directly a devotee of the Lord is a person who has automatically both served the purpose of sacrifices and pleased the demigods. Because once you become a devotee of Krishna, all the devatas naturally pleased. We have heard in Narasimha pastimes where Prahlad, just by remembering Vishnu, all devatas were pleased. There are so many pastimes like that. So that's why when become devotee of Krishna, everybody is pleased. Doesn't mean that we should demean or disrespect them. We should respect everybody because they are also serving the Supreme Lord. But at the same time, we don't have to separately serve, worship them, because there are 33 crore Devi Devatas. Whom all will worship? How much time we'll have? That's why worship Krishna with the due respect to all Devi Devatas, understanding that Krishna is supreme. And with the Devatas also requesting that please allow us to serve Krishna nicely, worship Krishna nicely. So support us. And they are also in that path. So that's why Prabhupada is saying that they just by becoming devotees, they served all the purpose sacrifices and pleased demigods. Now, what is the sacrifice for Kali Yuga? The different yuga has got different sacrifices, different purposes, like Yuga Dharma, the meditation for Satya Yuga, Yajna Homa for Treta Yuga, and deity worship, Archa Vigraha worship for Dwapara Yuga. But for Kali Yuga, it is Harinam Sankirtana. Sankirtana is the only process which can help in a Kali Yuga. No other process can help in Kali Yuga. So that's the greatest sacrifice. So Prabhupada finally concludes, the devotees of Lord may not perform any sacrifices or may not please demigod as per Vedic injunctions, but still the devotees are on a higher level than the fruitary workers or the worshipper of demigods. So in Chaitanya Leela also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time also, there are so many sannyasis criticize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hey, you are a young sannyasi. Why are you chanting on the road and dancing? Why don't you study Vedas? Why don't you study scriptures? Mahaprabhu said, my Guru Maharaj told me that you are a fool. You cannot understand Vedas. You just chant. So doesn't mean that he is fool. He doesn't know. He is Supreme Lord himself. He is addressing people like Kali Yuga, people like me, who cannot understand the high level of philosophy. So for that, just chant the holy name, because Nama Prabhu, the holy name, can save from all miseries, all kind of problem. And this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra has got all the potencies. Nam Akar is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I invested all my potency in my name. And just by chanting this name, we can invoke the mercy of the Lord. Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtana. So this Harinama is coming from Goloka, which is just by chanting, we can get the benefit of all the other sacrifices or the meditation of Satya Yuga or deity worship of the Dwapara Yuga or the Achavigraha, the Yajna Homa of Treta Yuga. Everything can be achieved just by chanting the holy name. That's a real sacrifice. We don't have to do any other sacrifices. If possible, okay. But if you don't find Kali Yuga, the best is enough. Okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti also talks about Hayagriva here. So we study Vedas to the extent that I should understand that I am the servant, he is the Supreme Lord. I don't have to unnecessarily spend too much time on studying the scriptures. I'm saying for the sake of knowledge. Yes, knowledge is required to serve him, not for the become Pandita and show off my Panditya. Because Krishna doesn't require my Panditya. Krishna required my Bhava. Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janatana. I don't have to unnecessarily accumulate, carry books and accumulate knowledge. My knowledge is required that I should serve Vaishnavas, I should serve Krishna. That is the knowledge. For that supporting knowledge, how do I serve? What kind of yajna I can do? What kind of puja I can do? This is the knowledge required. And what cannot do, how, what we should do, all those things, yes, knowledge required, not beyond that. That's why Prabhupada says that simply understand Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, that's more than enough. And after that, time permits Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's where our life is enough, because we may not have time to study all the scriptures, Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads. So just enough. And if those have knowledge, those who have time, then they go for it. But otherwise, we can, limit ourselves to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so we'll read the 12.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Namaste.
Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 12. Matsya Yuganta Samaye Manon Upalabdaha Kshonimayo Nikhila Jiva Nikhaya Ketaha Vishram Sithan Urur Baye Salile Mukanme Adaya Tatra Vijahara Ha Veda Margan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Right.
At the end of the millennium, the would be Vaivatsva Manu of the name Satyavrata would see that the Lord in the fish incarnation is the shelter of all kinds of living entities, up to those in the earthly planets. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of the millennium, the Vedas come out of my Brahma's mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Purport. During one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and at the end of each Manu, there is devastation up to the earthly planets, and the vast water is fearful even to Brahma. So, in the beginning of the would be Vaivatsvava, Manu, such devastation would be seen by him. There would be many other incidents also, such as the killing of the famous Sankashura. This foretelling is by the past experience of Brahmaji, who knew that in that fearful, devastating scene, the Vedas would come out of his mouth. But the Lord, in his fish incarnation, not only would save all living entities, namely the demigods, animals, men, and great sages, but would also save the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we can understand different pastimes happens different day of the Brahma. So we know one day of the Brahma means for us it is 4 yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga into 1000. That is 12 hours. And after 12 hours, Brahma is going to sleep. So that is the end of the day. There is a partial devastation what happen. So like that, one day the Hayagriva comes. Next day, Matsya Avatara comes. So different here it talks about where Vaivasvata Manu is going to come. That one day of Brahma, there is 14 Manus. In that one of the Manu's time, this pastime happened. So Brahmaji is talking about here that in that the end of this one, just by breathing out, the here Prabhupada says, because of my fear, the vast water at the end of the millennium, the Vedas come out of my mouth. So just by breathing out, the Vedas comes out, and protect that, Matsya Avatara appears. So here Prabhupada says that during the one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. At the end of each Manu, there is a devastation. So it's a partial devastation, not 100% annihilation. 100% annihilation happens at the end of life of Brahma. It's 100 years. So each day there is a partial annihilation. At the end, there is a full annihilation. So he says in the beginning of the would-be Vaivasvataman, that means next. So that's the Sandhya time, or that's the end time. Such devastation would be seen. And there would be many other instances. So killing of Shankashura, it's a demon who stole the Vedas. So these pastimes happens each day of the Brahma, different pastimes. And if you see that now, because there are unlimited number of Brahmandas, these pastimes happening simultaneously. In one of the Brahmanda, now maybe Brahma's one day, in another maybe night, like that, different pastimes happening, different Brahmandas, Krishna's pastime. That's why Krishna's pastimes are so unlimited. We cannot even imagine, because unlimited Brahmandas are there, and each Brahmanda Krishna's pastime is continuously happening. So this is how here Matsya Avatar happening. And the end, Prabhupada says that the Lord in his fish incarnation not only would save the living entities, namely demigods and animals, men and great sages, but would also save Vedas. So Lord is only the protector, and whenever there is a danger, Lord comes as a protector and saves everybody. Okay, next we'll read one more. 13. Can somebody read?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll read.
Okay.
Sure. 12. 12. 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Piro dadav amara danava. Yutapanam unmatanatam. Amritalabdya adi devaha. Prishtena kachapavapurvidattara. Gotam nidakshano dripa parivarta kshaнаkanduhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The primeval Lord then assumed the tortoise incarnation in order to serve as a resting place, pivot for the Mandara mountain, which was acting as a churning rod. The demigods and demons were churning the ocean of milk with the Mandara mountain in order to extract nectar. The mountain moved back and forth, scratching the back of Lord Tortoise, who, while partially sleeping, was experiencing an itching sensation. Purport: although it is not in our experience, there is a milk ocean within this universe. Even the modern scientist accepts that there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of planets hovering over our heads, and each of them has different kinds of climatic conditions. Srimad Bhagavatam gives much information which may not tally with our present experience. But as far as Indian sages are concerned, knowledge is received from the Vedic literatures, uh, and the authorities accept without any hesitation that we should look through the pages of authentic books of knowledge, Shastra Chakshurvat. So we cannot deny the existence of the ocean of milk as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, unless and until we have experimentally seen all the planets hovering in space. Since such an experiment is not possible, naturally we have to accept the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam as it is because it is so accepted by spiritual leaders like Sridhara Swami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanatha Chakravarti, and others. The Vedic process is to follow in the footsteps of great authorities, and that is the only process for knowing that which is beyond our imagination. The primeval Lord, being all powerful, can do whatever he likes, and therefore he is assuming the incarnation of a tortoise or a fish for serving a particular purpose is not at all astonishing. Therefore, we should not have any hesitation whatsoever in accepting the statements of the authentic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. The gigantic work of churning the milk ocean by the combined effort of the demigods and the demons require a gigantic resting ground or pivot for the gigantic Mandara hill. Thus, to help the attempt of the demigods, the trivial lord assumed the incarnation of a gigantic tortoise swimming in the ocean of milk. At the same time, the mountain scratched his backbone as he was partially sleeping and thus relieved his itching sensation. So, here it is being told about the Kurma Avtara of Lord Vishnu. So, while churning the ocean, he acted as a resting place or like a foundation for the Mandara mountain. And also the Mandara mountain, he was half asleep and itching sensation was there. This Mandara mountain provided relief from the itching sensation. That's what I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, as we all know that there is what is that called?
Fight between demigods and
and finally the churning, because they wanted to take the Amrita nectar. So churning happens. The what is the churning rod? Is the Mandara mountain.
Mandara mountain and Vasuki
Vasuki
snake
is the rope. Correct.
rope.
Yeah. So when one side devatas, other side demons, they were churning, and this mountain was not standing one place because it's falling down. So that's where the Lord, they all called out Lord. So Lord appears in the tortoise form, because see, each appearance is for a purpose, and it takes a form for the purpose. For example, it takes form Varaha to go to place under Garbhodaka ocean where dirty is there, where Mother Earth was stored. It takes the form of pig, Varaha, because pig can only go to that place. And it takes a form of fish, because late in that the narration Matsya Avatara, he takes a form of boat to save all the sages, everybody, from when the devastation happens. So for that, it takes a form of fish. Now to stay in water and hold this Mandara mountain, he takes a form of a tortoise, kurma. So here, of course, Lord is such a gigantic one. When they're churning the back of the tortoise, the kurma, he feeling very comfortable, itching, sensation. Like the if somebody itching, somebody is scratching, that's a benefit, pleasure he gets. But the point is that here, Prabhupada says, although it is not in our experience, there is a milk ocean within this universe. So first and foremost, we understand there is unlimited number of universes, Brahmandas, and each Brahmanda there are different the oceans. We have experienced the ocean of salt water, or the river of sweet water. That's it. There is a ocean of milk. There is a ocean of butter. There's a ocean of ghee. There's a ocean of honey. There's a ocean of somarasa. Prabhupada one prayer says is liquor, but it's not liquor, somarasa. So all these things are available in unlimited ocean, not just a little water, little ghee, little honey. No, it's ocean, unlimited. So why? Because each one is used for the sacrifice of the Lord. The ghee is used for sacrifice of the Lord. Milk is used for sacrifice of the Lord. Honey is used. Butter is used. Like that, each item is used for the Lord's sacrifices, and this is available in abundance. This gives understanding that Lord has no shortage. Everything He can give. It's only up to us. Today morning we are discussing, Lord can give anything and everything for us, provided we surrender to Him. Like Mother Earth can produce unlimited number of fruits and vegetations, and the mountains can give all kind of minerals, and ocean can give all kind of jewels. Everything is available, and only thing is that I should work in a conjunction with the nature and Supreme Lord. When I do that, Mother Earth provides everything. We know in the pastime Prithu Maharaj, after Vena is killed, the all the people were not satisfied because there was nothing, because Vena was such a rogue. So Mother Earth withdraw everything. And when Prithu Maharaj came, he chastised Mother Earth. You cannot do that. You provide everything to people, jivas. Then she provides. So here also, Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam gives some much information about which may not tally with our present experience. So if somebody says, there is a ocean of ghee, people may not accept, because we see the one small well itself is a huge. This talk about the ocean. Like that, there's so many other things are there. But we need to have that faith that Shastra, whatever says, Shastra, we have to see through the eyes of the Vedas. We need to see through the eyes of the Shastras and Acharyas. Then only we'll be able to understand. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Canto 5, if you go there, there's a detailed explanations of all these universal appearances and what happens. Prabhupada also quoting from Jiva Goswami, Vishnu Chakravarti Goswami, and Sridhar Swami. All these facts, their great acharyas are confirming. So further, Prabhupada says here, The gigantic work of churning the milk ocean by the combined effort of the demigods and demons required a gigantic resting ground or pivot, gigantic Mandara hill. So both were demon and devatas. They were whole purpose to take the nectar. So we as a practicing devotees also should churn our spiritual understanding, our service to Lord, so that we get the real nectar of the holy name, nectar of love for Krishna. That's our ultimate. We should aspire to get that. And in the process, like the churning, there are so many other things came. So many items came. And in that one item is halal, poison also. But similarly, when we do bhakti, sometime anarthas will come out. Because my heart is full of anarthas. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Lobha, everything is there. When I take up devotion service, all these anarthas will come out, like that poison. So I should simply give up that anarthas and take up this nectar so that I can become succeed in my life. So that's why our churning should be the chanting the holy name. Understanding scriptural. Scripture has to be churned. I mean, churn means we should meditate continuously and think about it. How can I serve? How can I help devotees? How can I help? That should be the mood. 24/7. My only thinking should be that how can I help? How can I serve? This is the only thing. If that is there, that's the real churning. I mean, my mind should be continuously churning, continuously thinking about how can I serve Krishna. With that mood, we can easily, serve, and the nectar, the love of Krishna naturally will come. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments. Yes, who want to start? Maybe today less, only 8 devotees. Huh? What happened all? Asha, Mataji, want to start?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Those four Vedas, and the purpose of Vedas is basically to gradually transform the people to bhakti. Vedic hymns is to meant to satisfy the Lord. Devotees of Krishna, they need not um, worship demigods, because when Krishna is being worshipped, all the demigods are also pleased. So serving Krishna is the ultimate. In Kali Yuga, Mahamantra Harinam Sankirtan is the best yajna. We have to learn Vedas to understand that Krishna is the supreme and I am his servant. Then, whenever there is danger, the Lord appears and he saves. For Lord, there is no shortage, and we have to. You're talking about the churning. Churning is the chanting of the holy name, and how I have to churn is that chant the holy name, and should always think how I can help others and how I can serve the soul. That's my takeaway, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class.
Maria Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and our pranams. Brahma speaks about Haigreva. Lord appeared as the Haigreva to recover Veda and protect Veda. And there are 4 Vedas: Atharvana, Rig, Yajur, and Sama. 4 Vedas. After writing Vedas, Vyasdeva is not happy. So as per advice of Narada Muni, he glorified Supreme Lord by writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And the purpose of all Vedas, yajnas, sacrifices are to please Krishna. If Krishna is worshipped, served with due respect for demigods, everyone is satisfied, including Supreme Lord Krishna. And Mahamantra is comprising of all potential of Supreme Lord, and knowledge is required to glorify and satisfy the Supreme Lord. And one day of Brahma is about 14 manus. Each day partial annihilation happens. At the end of Brahma, complete annihilation happens, and Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. Whenever there is danger for living entities, Supreme Lord appears and in any ocean of milk, ghee, honey, understanding and faith can be achieved only by reading Vedic literature. With my little intelligence, it's difficult to believe. So I must thoroughly meditate and thoroughly read the Vedic literatures, Prabhuji. That much I have understood. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much.
Thank you. Kanchana Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My humble pranams.
Comes to you.
Lord's incarnation is unique. Lord protects all devotees, all living entities. Now we saw Hayagriva avatar. The Hayagriva avatar, when Hayagriva avatar came from the sacrifice which Brahmaji was performing, and the main purpose of this incarnation was to reinstate all the Vedas, and which was lost, and give it to Brahmaji. And the second avatar now today we saw is Matsya avatar in the form of gigantic fish. When after the yugas, when all the Vedas were submerged in waters, and Brahmaji was afraid that he would not get back. Lord took big fish form, and he saved the Vedas, living entities. And the third we saw is Kurma avatar, tortoise avatar. When all the demigods, demons were churning the ocean of milk, Mandara hill was shaking. So to give rest, Lord took Kurma avatar, tortoise avatar to give just supporting help for these churning gods who were churning to get the nectar. So this Mandara hill just to giving an itching sensation, not to make the Lord sleep, it also which help. So like this we see so many avatars, so many incarnation. All the incarnation is for protecting the living entities, Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. Vedas is the absolute truth. But here in this Kali Yuga, it is chanting Hare Krishna that equals performing all sacrifices, that equals getting the benefit of all the sacrifices. We should continuously chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and just sanctify ourselves. We should always keep thinking of how to help fellow devotees, how to help others, how to serve the Lord in devotion. That is the main topic of today's sir. Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Humble pranams.
Bless you. Reena Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Beautiful learning. I mean, whatever we think that we achieve by ourselves is not true. It is Lord Sri Krishna who helps us get the knowledge, protects us, and also supports us from all sides, maybe behind the scene. And I was talking to Sudha Mataji the other day. I had a work situation at office where it was a little complicated, and I was not able to know what to do. And I just thought to myself that you have to be helping me out. I have no clue on how to handle it. And I did not do anything. Nothing I could do. I just prayed myself on the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And I was sharing this. Within 5-10 minutes, the situation solved on its own. I had nothing to do. I just was sitting and attempting showing off as if I am listening to them, but in my mind, in my heart, I was only chanting, telling him that I don't know, I am in this situation. You have to only help me out. So I was able to relate to what you said today in terms of like he's there with us, and all his wisdoms is what comes to us, and only when we sincerely think about him and also ask him that this is what I am in the situation, and can you please help me out, and it is like being there in the situation is like I could feel that it is he who, otherwise I could have never been able to handle the situation. So that was one thing that I thought I should share it in this forum. Apart from that, today's learning is about Lord Sri Krishna's incarnations, about Haigriva, Matsya, and Kurma, and it shows about like how Lord protects the universe, the Vedas, and all the living beings. So he came as Haigriva during the Brahmaji's sacrifice. He's described as the personification of the Veda and all sacrifices. And the Vedic sounds came from his breathing, showing how Vedic knowledge originates from Lord Sri Krishna. And the real purpose of Vedas and sacrifice is to connect with the soul and Lord Sri Krishna. And also in Matsya Avatar, the fish incarnation, when things were covered by water and people were fearful, that's where the Lord protected the Vedas and all living beings. So that was another beautiful way where the spiritual knowledge and creation, he came as an eternal protector. And also in the Kurma Avatar, that story also I really liked it, Guruji, where you mentioned about like the scratching. So that was something I never knew. So it was very nice when the mountain scratching his back felt pleasant to him. So what seems to be difficult for us is effortless for Lord Sri Krishna, and he joyfully supports the creation. So that's the learning today in terms of whatever we achieve, it is he who supports us. We think that we have done so much, but it is he who helps us get things done. So that's the learning for today. Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Sudhavadi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranams. Thank you for the class. Yes, I think everyone has covered. So Hayagriva came to protect Vedas, and we should be happy that we are born in Kali Yuga. Why? Because our process to reach Krishna is very simple. Earlier it was like you need to perform yajnas and all that. You need lot of samagri. I mean puja materials and also different types of leaves and all that to do it, which we don't know all that those process. But here at the we can easily chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, very simple for us. So that way I'm very happy that I'm born in Kali Yuga. um, and we should always be in the mood how to serve Krishna. That should be our main motive. How I should serve Krishna and his devotees. That should be my main motive. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes, we should.
Prabhuji, like today the internet Wi-Fi has given some problems. I'm using my mobile data. That's the reason Dia got disconnected in between.
Okay.
Kindly excuse her for
She's
today.
there now? She's there with you now?
No, because interruption. She's in the other room,
Okay.
so it got disconnected. This Wi-Fi. I'm using mobile data, so that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Okay.
Kindly excuse her for today, Prabhuji.
Sure. Sure. Sridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The same thing everybody covered, the same only, Prabhuji. So Lord takes the Hayagriva incarnation to protect the Vedas, which were stolen by the demon. The Vedic hymns are meant for sacrifices performed by putative workers to satisfy the demigods. But the Lord is personified sacrifices and personified Vedic hymns. Here, Srila Prabhupada says the devotees of the Lord need not do any sacrifices, just chanting the holy name is enough. So the next sloka, after each millennium, the Lord incarnates. Now the would-be Vaivashvata Manu of the name Satyavrata would see that the Lord incarnates as fish to give protection to the living entities. Then later, the demigods and asuras, next verse, Prabhuji. Later, the demigods and asuras fight and they churn the milky ocean for nectar with the Vasuki rope to the Mandara mountain. Then the Lord appears in tortoise incarnation to kill the asuras. Prabhuji, is it to kill the asuras?
Whose incarnation?
Tortoise incarnation.
No. The tortoise comes to give base for the churning.
Churning.
On the hill
Okay.
is shaking,
So with Vasuki rope to the Mandara mountain, then the Lord appears in tortoise incarnations. So as Prabhuji said, we as practicing devotees should churn and produce nectar for the Lord, churn scriptures, churn in chanting, and love Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes, Shruti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nothing. Thanks for the class.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyasya patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this Saturday we are planning for a one-day picnic. I don't know if the Bhagavatam team wants to join. We are planning to go to Chikka Tirupati and nearby places. So the devotees want to join, please plan. So by Wednesday, we need to finalize the transport and other things. Please let us know who can join. Okay. Join with the
Thank you,
family.
Prabhuji. Thank you for the class.
We'll have a lot of fun, and of course,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
it's equivalent to go to Tirupati only. It's considered, Chikka Tirupati means small Tirupati of Karnataka. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you for the
Wonderful.
class. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.